Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we'll be continuing with the To-Do application. So I've put this pop-up at the bottom, change the ID and added a theme. Here's the UI, like the UI which we'll be trying to implement. So let's begin. First of all, if you see this is a column, the first item is a search bar, second is a text, then the third is a list, and the fourth is a button for adding items. So we'll be using column layout, anchors, sorry, fill parent, margins 10 is good enough. Now top margin and bottom we have to increase. Let's say 20, and the spacing between each item will be also 20. Excuse me. The first item is a search bar, right? Now to make the search bar, this search thing, we have to use a text field. We already taught text field in lecture 18, so we'll be implementing a custom text field. So in the utils, add new QML file, custom text field. Let's rescan the project. Always this issue. And right click here, open with plain text editor, and remove this. This is my Qt creators issue. Save all, run cmake. And this is added. So you have to import. This time I'll be putting control basic, and this will be a text field. Text field ID will be control, and we'll think of the properties later. For now, width and height also will be set from outside. So first of all, let's set the background to a rectangle. Color will be grayish. Radius will be control.height by 4, so that it's round in shape, or height by 2, so that it's more round in shape. And the color of the text will be white. Now the color of the placeholder text, I hope you know what placeholder is, right? Placeholder means the text which will be displayed if you don't type anything. Placeholder text color, it will be white. Yeah. Now the placeholder text will be just simply search, and that color should not be white, it should be grayish. So I'll say 777. So let's use this custom text field. So I'll say custom text field layout dot preferred width 250, layout dot preferred height 40, layout dot alignment q dot align edge center, so it's in the center of the layout column layout. And then I think that's it. Let's see. Yeah, excuse me. So this is in the center because we are not eating up the entire column layer's height. So I'll say item layout dot fill height 2. So this will eat the remaining height, and this text field will be pushed to the extreme top. Okay, so good enough. Some top margin, more top margin would have been better, like 30. Yep. Now let's add some padding left and right. So I'll say after color and all. Actually, this should be above this. And here I'll say left padding of, let's say, let's give it some good left padding because we need the magnifying glass icon. And let's give some good right padding of, let's say, 16. And I think that should be good enough. Now let's add some image. Width of, let's say, 16. Height of, let's say, 16. Layout dot align, not layout dot alignment, because use anchors because this is inside a text field which is not a layout. So anchors dot uh, vertical alignment, vertical center, sorry, parent dot vertical center, anchors dot left, parent dot left, anchors dot left margin of, let's say, 10. And the source for the image will be the search. Let's see. Excuse me. Excuse me. I think this is good enough. The icon size could have been more lower. Yeah, I think this is good enough. The left padding also can be reduced by 4 points. Now, I think there is some issue here. Let me see. Okay, so we should give some more left margin. Let's say 16, and then the padding will be increased to, let's say, 32 or 34. I think this is good enough. The icon height should be a bit lesser. I think 12 is good enough. Similarly, we have to also fix the width. Okay, so basic, this is customization, guys. I know this is boring, but if you want to customize, like, you have to spend some amount of time. I think this should be good enough. Let's reduce the padding. I think the height should also be reduced. Let's say 10. Okay, so this is too low. Sorry, guys. I'll just set it to width, so we have to only change one. I think this magnifying icon is a bit above compared to the actual text. I, if you guys can see it too. I mean, I think this is how the icon is like implemented. But yeah, if you see the image, if you see the this, I think is, it should be brought a bit down. So I'll say here. Anchors dot vertical center offset, and let's see. I obviously it will be something like 4 or 5 to bring it down. Okay, 4 is too large. 1 should be good enough. Yeah, perfect. I think this fits perfectly. Now the width should be something like 12. And I think this should be perfect, I guess. I think this is perfect, guys. Or we could have also done this. No, I think it will be vertical alignment, I guess. Vertical center. Let me check. Vertical alignment. Okay, this is already V center. So I think, guys, what we did is also good enough, I guess. Yeah, I think this is good enough, right? I think the height should have been a bit more like 12.5. But yeah, this is good enough. Now we have to also change the color of the image. It should be grayed out when no text is there, and it should be white when the text is there. So I'll say opacity control dot text. If it's there, then the opacity will be 1, otherwise it will be zero point 0.5. So whenever you type something, the text will have some value, then it will be 1 opacity, otherwise not. So now if you see, when you type something, control.text has some value, so the opacity is 1, otherwise the opacity is 0. And I think this is good enough, right? So we are done with one part. The next part, I think, which will be this thing, the daytime thing, right? So first is a number 16 August 2016, and if the extreme right is Monday. So let's implement that thing. Let's close this, go to main.kml file. So after this, we'll have a section for the date time thing, right? So at a first glance, let's first fill the data. After that, we'll see how to get the actual date and time from the backend. So the left side is 16th August 2016. So row layout, where the first is a number, the second is a column layout. So I'll say row layout. So layout dot fill with true. The first thing is a number, so text, and let's give some spacing of, let's say, 5. Text, the text will be for now 16. Forget QST and all. Font, point size 24. Weight, font dot demi mode. Color will be white. The second thing is a column layout, where the first thing is the month, second thing is the year. So column layout, spacing 2. Now the first thing is a month, not 2, I think spacing will be 5. So today is 20th February, so I'll say February 20th. Copy this, paste here. Size will be 16. The second thing is the year, so again copy this, paste here. Size will be 14, 2025. And the color, let's say this is EEE, or let's say DDD. So bit darker. This is A. Now let's see. Okay, I have to also fill with true for the row layout. But for now it worked. Let's remove the spacing. I think there's some padding for the text which is pushing the items a bit apart. Okay, so this is too large. I think 12 is good. This will be larger, like 28. I think more larger, 32. And this will be 14. And this will be, I think, 36. Basic estimation, guys. Basic estimation. Yeah, I think this is good enough, guys. I guess you agree with me. Change the spacing to 10. Now the extreme right thing will be the current day, which is Thursday. It's 1 a.m. in the morning, and I'm recording video. But anyway, let's add some item to fill the width so that it pushes the remaining text to the extreme right. And I'll say text Monday. The font size will be around 20. Let's see. Okay, so this is too large. 14, I think, should be good enough. There should be more padding, so I'll say layout dot left margin 16, layout dot right margin 16, and I think this should work. Yeah, I think this is passable. This Monday is aligned with the bottom, so I'll say vertical alignment text dot align bottom, and let's see. So here it did not work because I think I did not provide any height here. So I'll say layout dot alignment q dot align bottom. This should work. Okay, this worked because I did not provide any height here, but if you see, this is not exactly matching because this thing also has some padding of its own. What else can we do? I think instead of bottom we can keep it as it is. That also does not look that bad. Or we should have some bottom offset like we did with vertical offset, but I think this looks better, I guess, in my opinion. So now let's try to fill the value. So we'll be clicking here, add new C++ class. I'll call it backend helper. You can call it anything you want. Base class will be Q object. Add QML element. Next, finish. Okay. Press F4. Also add QML singleton. so that you don't need to create objects in the UI. You can directly access. Now we'll be creating some queue properties. The first will be QString, which will return the current day, current day. Make sure that this set current day is C is in capital for good formatting, right? After that, another queue property, which will also be a QString. Current month, comment and uncomment to fix this set thing. Again, queue property, QString, current year. So again, comment uncomment for setting this thing. Now you have to just right click, refactor, generate missing properties. Right click, refactor, generate missing properties. Right click, refactor, generate missing properties. So it will generate all the methods and all getter and setter, right? So these are the three variables. We'll be setting the default value in the constructor of backend helper. So here we'll say current day equal to something and current month equal to something, current day equal to something, current month equals something, and current year equals something. Also for the right side we'll be setting the current day of the week to be something. Now we have to use the q date time header to actually get the date and time. So here we'll include q date time header file and also q locale, and we'll see how to use the q date time. Uh, so here we'll say there is a method for the current date time which will give the current date time object. So we'll say q date time. There is also something called date which will return the q date object. If you see the implementation, it will return the q date object. So let's see, in q date object we have method for the day, we have method for the month, we have method for the year which will return integer. So date dot day, and similarly dot month without an object argument. Okay, let's see. So we have to use the current date time to get an object, and then dot date, then dot day, and this returns an integer. So you have to convert this to q string, or you can just change the property value to int. Both works fine, I guess. Now was the issue. Conversion into q char is ambiguous. Okay. Okay, so this thing is an integer. This we know. Now we have to convert this to a q string because current day is a string. Let's see. Okay, so you have to use QString number method. So this will convert this to integer. Now the warning is removed. We'll do the same thing for the month and for the year. But there is a problem. I'll show you what the problem is. But for now, instead of day, this will be month. We are getting the current date time object and we are getting the current date, and from that date we are getting the month. So just read the documentation, guys, very easy. Now we have to use the backend helper in the main.kml. So import the module which is Todo App, which we have already done. Now we can use backend helper. So instead of 20, it will be backend helper dot current day. Let's run the application once. And it's still 20. Now for the rest, I'll say backend helper dot current month and backend helper dot current year. But you'll see an issue for the month. It will be plain number, which is 2, which is correct. February is the second month, but we have to convert this 2 to the month name, right? So for that we have something called QLocale. So here you have a method. This class is called QLocale. Here you should have a method called month name. So you have to pass the integer month and it will convert to the month. So let's try this. Sorry. Let's go to backend helper first. Battery is letting low. Just a minute, guys. Let's it. The CBB stuff is boring, I know, and I've also not taught the data class. Actually, I don't do that myself completely, but something you have to just adjust and work along, right? So we'll just learn new things as we implement our project work. Here you will say whatever string value we are getting, you don't need to convert it to number. You don't need to convert to string. Keep it as an integer, and here use QLocale month name and pass the integer. Now the issue is call to non-string meta function without an object. So we have to create a QLocale object, otherwise we cannot call. So I'll say QLocale locale. Now object is created, and I'll say locale month name, locale dot month name. Now this should be fixed. Now let's see. And now we got the month, right? So this part of the code you can just copy from me, right? Very easy. This current date time gives an object of QDateTime. From that object we got the date, which is a QDate class object. Right, now that from the QDate class we have a method called month to get the current month. So all of this is from the documentation. Now what's remaining is the day name, right? So day of the week. So there should be something for the day of the week. Day name. Localized name that was represent month. Yeah. So we can use something dot day name, right? So let's go to the header file. Create a new property. Which will also be QString. Current day of week. So for more clarity, comment uncomment for the setter method to be correctly fixed. Refactor generate missing properties, and now you can use this. So I'll say equals locale dot day name, and here you have to pass the actual day of the week. So there should be a method in QDateTime. So get the current object using current date time, convert it to the date object, get the date object. Here there is something day of the week got the method. So there is a method called day of week. So it will return the day of the week. Now just use this in the UI. So instead of Monday, we'll say backend helper dot current day of week, and let's see. It's Thursday. So big issue is fixed. Let's change the preferred height, like preferred width, to let's say 350. Should look good enough. Yeah, I think this is better, much better, right? So we are done with two things. What's remaining is the list view, and I think this should not be that bold. So I'll say font dot medium. Same for the others. Only the correct day should be bold. I think this is much better, right? So yeah, I think this is better. Now, after that, there is the list and the button to add the new elements of the list, and this search will be for filtering. So already we are done with a lot of part in the first half. So we'll be completing this in the next video, right? Till then, thank you.